Hi, it's Mark Bossert, producer of the Pawlik Automotive podcast. We're here with Bernie Pawlik, and we're talking cars. How are you doing, Bernie?
Doing very well.
So today we're talking about a 2007 Mercedes-Benz CSL550. Pretty nice car. There was a front end problem. What was going on with this Mercedes?
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice car. And what was happening is the owner was complaining there's some clunking sounds when he hit bumps in the car. So that was what we were looking at. And that's what we did an inspection on the front end and found a few interesting things.
And what did you find?
Well, we found that the control arm bushing, so there's two lower control arms on this vehicle, and all the bushings had excessive play. We also found that one of the ball joints was extremely badly worn as well. On the right lower ball joint was extremely badly worn also.
So with all that kind of play, what needed to be replaced to fix the suspension?
So there's different options, and it depends on the car. Sometimes you can buy just the control arm bushing. Sometimes you have to buy the whole arm. In the case of this vehicle, we replaced complete arms because that's what was available. And some of the arms, they call it an upper and lower control arm only because of the way the ball joint mounts. But the upper control arms come with ball joints, but the lower ones do not. The ball joint is actually pressed into the steering knuckle. So, and actually I might be saying this backwards, lower upper, but anyways, either way, one of the control arms comes with a ball joint, one does not. So on the right hand side, the ball joint is pressed into the steering knuckle, and then that one we just replaced the ball joint only on that side. So why don't I just go into sharing some pictures here so you can get an idea what's going on with this car. So we'll start with a video, and you can see this worn. Are you seeing this, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the worn ball joint. It spins very easily, and then there's a lot of up and down movement in that ball joint that shouldn't be there. With someone with their hand, they should never be able to move that at all. It's normally very tight. So the ball joint on the left-hand side was tight as brand new, but this one was completely worn. Now there's our car. First of all, beautiful, sleek looking. Gotta love technology. Got to roll with it sometimes. Anyways, to make a long story short, that ball joint that you saw that play, when we cut the dust boot open, it was full of rusty crap. And normally that's full of grease inside that boot. It keeps the grease in. So somehow moisture seeped in, worn the joint out, and caused all that excessive play.
So since you were replacing one, wouldn't it make sense to just replace the other ball joint at the same time?
Well, there are some parts when you do something on the right side of the car, you want to do the same on the left. It's like brakes, for instance. If you do a brake caliper on the right, you want to do the left as well, especially on the front, because it'll affect your braking. But something like a ball joint, it's a precisely made part, machined to exact tolerances. They're all the same, and there's really no. If the ball joint on the left side is good, there's no reason to change it because likely it's not going to be wearing. It could still last for 10 more years before it wears out. This one unfortunately got some water incursion, which wore the ball joint out prematurely.
And how are these parts for longevity? Do they wear out frequently?
Well, they do. I think they do faster than they should. I mean, there's some cars where control arm bushings never wear out, and others where they wear out kind of frequently. So a lot of European cars, have control arm bushing issues. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. There's a lot expected of them in terms of movement, and plus, they make them in such a way you get a nice, smooth, controlled ride, so that it's a precise component, and they do tend to wear out. Probably a little more on these cars than on some others.
Bushing in this regard is basically a rubber end piece that's built to be super stiff, but has some flexibility, so it's more flexible than if you just bolted the control arm to the frame.
That is exactly what it is. I mean, if you actually just bolted the control arm to the frame solidly, there would be no movement. So a bushing allows flexibility, but not, but in a controlled manner. And I guess, the only other option you would have besides a rubber bushing would be an actual bearing that would move, but that would be a very hard metal to metal type of movement. And so it would actually probably give an uncomfortable ride in the car. It would allow the movement, but and probably be very durable if you kept it lubricated, but it wouldn't allow for a very smooth ride. These bushings are very thick. A lot of them, the rubber can be an inch thick surrounding a metal core, I'm explaining it right. I mean, the bushing can be 3 inches in diameter, and then the center core can be an inch. So there's a lot of rubber in between, and there's a lot of movement there over time. But when it's new, it's pretty tight. if that explains it.
Sure. And how are these CLS class Mercedes for reliability? Do you work on quite a few of these?
But we do. Yeah, they're pretty good cars. I mean, this particular one we've serviced for quite a while. I mean, it's had its share of issues. Some fluid leaks and alternator and things like that are worn out. Possibly, it's not a very high mileage car. My expectation would be it probably should have lasted longer, but that's what it is. So they're not as reliable as Japanese cars, as I often say, but it's a beautiful ride, and I'd say worth the price of admission.
And a bit more of a high performance vehicle, really, for that size of car and sedan, really.
It really is. And actually, this car drives. It's got a lot of power. Surprising, you think, you'd want the AMG if you wanted to go all out. And yes, that's true. But actually, this 550 it's very adequate in terms of power and performance. It's a pretty awesome car. Not disappointing in any way. And yeah, a nice step up from like an S class, which is more of a, like a conservative kind of nice conservative luxury sedan. This has got some sportiness to it.
At the risk of insulting Mercedes-Benz fans in the world, it's kind of a S class is almost like an slight upgrade from a Jetta.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, slight upgrade. Yeah, I think like quite a large one, but But we can talk about S classes later. I mean, great cars too. Just different.
So there you go. If you're looking for service and maintenance or any kind of repairs on your Mercedes-Benz in Vancouver, the guys to see are Pawlik Automotive. You can reach them at 604-327-7112 to book your appointment. You have to call ahead and book. They're busy. Check out their website, pawlikautomotive.com. Check out the YouTube channel, Pawlik Auto Repair. And I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.